the box office predictions for Captain America 4, Brave New World, not so brave as the case may be, because it's tracking around about the same level as the Eternals at the moment.
Not a win.
This is from Luis Fernando, who's like pretty good box office analyst. He says Captain America Brave New World had its pre-sales kickoff on Friday at the US box office. After 2 days, although nowhere near Quantumania, because we love that movie, which opened on the same weekend in 2023, Brave New World is currently 1.4% better than the Marvels and Joker 2, on par with the Eternals, and not far from Black Widow and Dune Part 2 after the first 2 days of pre-sales. This is low bar right here.
And it's got Captain America in the title, which you would think would be worth at least a little bit of money. So it's not something they'll replicate the next time they do a movie which doesn't have any of the at least the inherited titles in it. So I'm almost more interested to see how something like, is it Thunderbolts? Is that a thing that's coming up?
Yep.
That is a thing. Yeah, that's actually their big summer release. Because
Fantastic Four is.
No, that's July. So Thunderbolts is May, and May's like their big, like that's the movie that kicks off their summer movie season.
That kicks it off, but they're like the Fantastic Four has to do well.
It will.
The other two are kind of holdovers, but
Fantastic Four comes out this year.
Yeah,
comes out in June.
We haven't had a trailer for it yet.
Within 2 weeks of Superman.
We haven't even seen anything from that either.
There's gonna be
I've seen a little trailer
in that movie.
Yeah,
I got a feeling that movie's not going to do well. I got a feeling Thunderbolts is not going to do well, and I think that Captain America is going to have something is going to help. Like it's going to help those movies underperform even worse because. It's hard to tell because, like, obviously you had Guardians of the Galaxy and that did pretty good and outside of all the other Marvel failures that were happening, but nothing that Marvel is putting out is helping the next project. And you're advertising, as Little Platoon just said, Captain America in the title, and people are just not interested. You've had 3 Captain America movies.
Captain America is not in the movie.
Exactly. You've had 3 Captain America movies, solo movies, true, solo movies. You've had the first Avenger, you had Winter Soldier, you had Civil War, which we all know Civil War was like a de facto Avengers movie, but still, those all did exceptionally well. And of course, you had Endgame. Endgame was carried by obviously Robert Downey Jr. and then to a lesser extent, Chris Evans, Captain America, and then everyone else. But that audience, like the normie audience, just is not interested in this. And it's because they do realize Captain America is not in the movie. You go back to The Flash. Remember when The Flash came out? And I thought The Flash was going to do okay because of having Batman at the forefront, even if it was Michael Keaton's Batman, or even if we heard, that Ben Affleck's Batman. That movie, holy shit.
I did not see it flopping.
I didn't see it flopping that bad. And it does seem like with the rise of independent media, there's more information out there. The general audience seems to be a little more informed now about what's going on with these movies. And I think Captain America 4, Captain African American, as Gary says, I think it's going to be really bad for Marvel, and that's going to set the other films up for this year to suffer even worse.
I think Thunderbolts will probably do okay only because it was relatively cheap to make. It had $150 million budget, so like the bar for like making a profit is so much lower with that one. So I think it will probably make a marginal profit for them, but it's not going to be a particularly successful movie. And I think, Captain America: Brave New World, that's going to flop just because the budget is so insanely high. It's never going to come close to making back what it needs to.
Brave New World's a bad title. New World Order, man, put Hulk Hogan on the cover. Put the NWO logo. I would be there day one.
Like with his guitar and
shit. But this thing has been through development hell. The budget, I know there's the budget that they're claiming is out there, but everyone is basically saying like that budget is way higher than what Disney's officially saying. The budget is out of control for this movie.
It always is.
But this one is next level apparently because of all the reshoots and everything that they've had to do. So I was talking to Ryan about this on Daily the other day, but this movie's probably got to make $1 billion just to break even.
They probably consider that a victory.
And that's not happening. This movie's not making $1 billion.
Well, not when it's tracking So it's tracking for the same 3-day period, Jeremy, the same as Winter Soldier in 2000 that came out in 2014.
And we can all look back on Everybody Loves Winter Soldier, and that's fine. It's a great movie, but that was not some
that was
massive,
a decade ago.
And at the time, that still wasn't like it wasn't like the Iron Man movies. It wasn't making that type of money at that point in time. So if it's tracking Winter Soldier from 10 years ago,
that's bad.
That's really bad.
And you also had the advantage with like Winter Soldier that you knew roughly where that stands in the overall story. So even if the movie you don't particularly like the movie or you don't think it's the best one ever, at least you know roughly where we are, who's involved, what some of the stakes are and going to be, and also that you need to see some of it because you need to understand what the next big thing coming up is going to be. But with this movie, I don't know where we are. I have no clue what the overarching storyline is. Am I going to have to go back and rewatch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Because I don't have to want to do that, but I might have to understand it. And I don't think many other people will. And it kind of needs this big reset in order for the audience just to basically grasp, are we starting off a brand new story that's going to be worth investing in? Or is this the second, third, fourth, fifth act of an endless story that I lost track of about 5 years ago? Or is this the end of something that I haven't been following? And if it's either of the last two situations, then automatically the reasons to get out of your house and go and see it on day of release are pretty minimal, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, like I am completely detached from MCU stuff. I have no, like I didn't watch the Black Captain America series or whatever. Like I have no idea what's going on with this.
You've got to do better, Jeremy.
Yeah, I know. I have no idea. I do remember that scene going viral, but so I personally have no idea where. So is that how it's going to be for a lot of the audience? Because obviously I'm more detached probably than a lot of people in our sphere because a lot of people are keeping up with it or whatever. But like, is the average audience goer going to know what's going on in the MCU right now? How convoluted is it? It seems like it's very convoluted.
It's convoluted. They've got this problem as well of they've had a very long gap between cinematic releases because Deadpool and Wolverine doesn't even really count because like it's completely detached from the timeline of the MCU. It's just like its own little self-contained story. And in between that, you've got these shitty Disney Plus shows that nobody really watched, or at least most of the general audience that went to the cinemas didn't watch them. And so they're not up to date on what's going on there. But that stuff is necessity viewing for like the next movie. And so they've painted themselves into a bit of a corner with this one where I think a lot of people just won't even know what's going on.
I mean, Multiverse of Madness had a not dissimilar problem with Wanda. You know, if you hadn't tuned into WandaVision and you clock onto that movie and it's, wait, what, there's this person who I last saw as a bit of a tragic hero, but a hero nonetheless is now, well, she's got some evil book now and she's a villain. When did that happen? Oh, it was on Disney Plus. That's why I didn't see it. On the disconnection point of, say, Deadpool and Wolverine, much the same thing happens, I think applies to almost every Marvel film that's come out since then, because I don't know how Multiverse of Madness connects to Ant-Man. I don't know how Ant-Man connects to Brave New World, and I don't know how Brave New World connects to whatever else they've released that I've forgotten to name and mention. I don't know. There are so many different bits and pieces of disconnected stories, including Deadpool and Wolverine, that I'm not invested at all in wherever this direction of travel is taking us.
Well
that
said.
WandaVision didn't, not fucking WandaVision. It was WandaVision, right? Jesus, my brain's melting. That show does not help you understand Multiverse of Madness at all. It's I think it was almost as jarring for anybody paying attention as for those who weren't. Like, she's supposed to have ended that show as like a good guy, and then she's a fucking villain again. Like,
Yeah.
it was the Darkhold that did it. I think you're like, okay,
Well, and it wasn't a sequel to Doctor Strange.
nope.
Now, Chris Gore and I were trying to figure out
over.
yesterday, and it was tough. What's the best live action Disney Plus Marvel series?
Ugh.
Hawkeye?
I don't know which ones, if I've seen any of them all the way through. I think
Hawkeye's pretty bad.
I think
kind of want to
I
say
think
We're trying to
kinda
figure out
want-
what the best is.
It could
Like,
be
I kinda
Hawkeye,
want-
though.
because Gary hates me.
WandaVision.
I think I saw She-Hulk all the way through because Gary hates me. He made me watch it for F&T.
Yep.
What are you
Fucking
suggesting?
bastard.
That was the best one.
That's the only fucking one I've seen. I
Guilty
think.
as charged.
I couldn't finish Loki. I gave up on that one after like 3 episodes. I was done with that one. I
I think in terms of least bad, I might say either Loki season 1 or
Loki. That's the one that fucked up everything.
I know, but
What's
like,
wrong with you?
well, this is a low
See,
fucking.
it's a
bar.
loaded question because it's all shit. But what's
Yeah.
the least shit?
Or WandaVision. And I only say that because WandaVision demonstrated a little bit of creative inventiveness.
I did
with-
watch. I watched WandaVision
Yeah.
too. That's right.
First few
I was.
episodes, yeah.
I would say
They're-
WandaVision at least had some level of interest when you're watching it. There was like, okay, where is this going? What direction are they taking this? Whereas the rest of them had none of that at all. None
Yeah.
of it.
And that's where we landed was WandaVision because it had 3 good first episodes. Decent,
that's
decent
about
first
that.
episodes.
Yeah.
Do you remember
Well,
back then we were speculating on where the
Disney-
story might
Disney
go?
Plus is the fucking bane of both
Yeah,
of these
seriously,
franchises.
think about this. We went from the Netflix series to the Disney Plus. Think of that drop off. Like even the bad Netflix ones were pretty good. They were decent enough.
Iron Fist was shit. But
Yeah.
I actually thought Iron Fist wasn't terrible. I thought Danny Rand was horrible.
Horrible.
What's her
Yeah.
name? Colleen Wing was great.
She was terrible. She dude,
Nah, she
work
was
out
great.
before you take a fucking role that you're
She
a
was great.
fighter. She looks like she worked out at the mall, like
She was great.
shopping.
She was great.
She was terrible, and he fucking hands his power to her, dude. It's so fucking MCU at the end of season 2. Fuck that. fucking
I
show.
liked the first half of Luke Cage. I thought the first half of that season was good.
it was inoffensive. Like I just never got interested.
Till Cottonmouth died. It was
Or-
good.
Kind of boring.
Yeah.
I
So
like
Cot-
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones'
also
first
because
season was good because of
David Tennant was a great
Yeah.
antagonist.
I actually didn't like. I thought Jessica Jones kind of sucked. I forgot about that one.
Season
And of course,
2
Dare-
sucked.
Of course, Daredevil. Punisher season 1 was great.
Season 2 sucked.
I
Yeah.
gave up halfway through season 2. Stopped watching it.
Yeah, same here.